The Siege of Constantinople in 1453 stands as one of the most consequential and dramatic events in medieval history, marking the fall of one of the most enduring cities of antiquity and the end of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire, also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, had been in decline for centuries, with its capital, Constantinople, gradually losing its territories and influence. Yet, despite its weakened state, Constantinople remained a formidable fortress and a symbol of both political and religious significance. The siege began in earnest on April 2, 1453, when the forces of the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Mehmed II, encircled the city. Sultan Mehmed II, also known as Mehmed the Conqueror, had ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1444 and had been focused on expanding his empire, with Constantinople being a primary target due to its strategic location and its symbolic importance. Constantinople's position straddling Europe and Asia and controlling key trade routes made it a prime prize for Mehmed II, who saw its capture as crucial for his ambitions to establish dominance over both the Christian West and the Muslim East. The Byzantine defenders, led by Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos, faced a daunting task. The city was defended by a relatively small force, estimated to be around 7,000 soldiers, including a contingent of foreign mercenaries and the city's own militia. In contrast, Mehmed II's army was significantly larger, with estimates ranging from 80,000 to 100,000 troops. This overwhelming numerical advantage was further compounded by the Ottoman superior siege technology, including massive cannons capable of breaching Constantinople's formidable walls. The city's fortifications were renowned for their strength. The Theodosian walls, which had protected Constantinople for centuries, were a series of triple-layered defensive walls with towers and moats, designed to withstand any assault. However, the Ottomans' introduction of massive gunpowder cannons, such as the Great Turkish Bombard, presented a new and unprecedented threat. These cannons were capable of hurling enormous stones that could breach the thick walls, a development that rendered traditional fortifications increasingly vulnerable. During the early stages of the siege, the defenders faced severe shortages of supplies and reinforcements. The Byzantines had hoped for help from Western Europe, particularly from the papacy and other Christian states, but the expected aid largely failed to materialize. The response from the West was inadequate, with only a handful of ships and troops arriving to assist in the defense. This lack of substantial support left Constantinople isolated and increasingly desperate. One of the most critical elements of the siege was the Ottomans' naval blockade. Mehmed II's forces effectively cut off maritime access to Constantinople, ensuring that no supplies could enter the city by sea. This blockade was instrumental in weakening the defenders' resolve and their capacity to withstand the prolonged siege. As the days turned into weeks, the pressure on Constantinople intensified. The Ottoman forces launched repeated assaults on the city's defenses, with Mehmed II deploying his artillery to bombard the walls relentlessly. The defenders, despite their valiant efforts, struggled to hold their ground against the continuous barrage. The morale within the city began to wane, exacerbated by the dire shortages of food and water. By May 22, 1453, the situation had reached a critical point. The Ottomans had managed to breach the walls at several points, and their forces began to pour into the city. The final assault was a brutal and chaotic affair, with street-by-street fighting as the Ottomans sought to overwhelm the Byzantine defenders. The city's last stand was marked by fierce resistance, but ultimately, the sheer number and determination of the Ottoman forces proved overwhelming. Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos fought valiantly alongside his troops, and his final stand became a symbol of the courage and desperation of the Byzantine defenders. According to legend, Constantine XI donned his armor and fought to the death, refusing to flee and abandoning his city. His fate remains uncertain, but his resistance became a powerful symbol of the fall of Constantinople. The fall of Constantinople on May 29, 1453, had profound and far-reaching consequences. The capture of the city marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the consolidation of Ottoman control over the region. The Ottomans renamed the city Istanbul and made it the capital of their empire. The fall of Constantinople also marked a significant turning point in European history, as it effectively ended the Byzantine influence in the region and shifted the balance of power in Eastern Europe. In addition to its immediate political and military consequences, the fall of Constantinople had a lasting impact on European exploration and trade. The closure of overland trade routes to the east led European powers to seek new maritime routes, eventually contributing to the Age of Discovery and the exploration of the Americas. The Siege of Constantinople remains a defining moment in history, emblematic of the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. It represents the confluence of military innovation, geopolitical ambition, and the dramatic shifts that shaped the course of history. The fall of Constantinople not only marked the end of the Byzantine Empire, but also heralded the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a dominant force in the region, forever altering the trajectory of European and Middle Eastern history.